Good morning, good morning. This is Mad Frankie, the mad scientist over in Wales. And this is me showing you the final pulls from the session from Wisconsin and Wales, or Wales and Wisconsin, as I put it, because that was our test run. And this is the pull from the big plate. I'm afraid I pulled it already, but there you go. And it's rather good. Now, this is using some of that indantherine blue. I'm not sure how long that tube is going to last because, of course, air got into it and lots of it went all over the place inside the box. And I managed to salvage some and I managed to close up the end. But, of course, air's got in, so I don't know how long it will last. But it's a glorious, glorious blue. They are replacing it, so maybe sometime this week coming, I may get the replacements. I know things are delayed because of the Jubilee today. Now, this was the one where there was a little touch of this here on the plate, and I was loving it. It was from the Industrial Stencil, which I thought I'd put out ready. Here we are. Industrial Stencil. This one. And I liked that little remnant from the previous pull so much, you'll see it eventually, that I thought I'd repeat it in the corners here and here and here, and maybe a bit in the middle as well. In fact, the one in the middle I just went over with a load of braid on some copper to give it a bit more. That's all I was doing. I was just doing that, not on that piece, that was already there. But I was doing that with the Bordeaux red and a bit with the copper. That's a sort of flop off, that one and that one. And that one was another, put some through, and then I put the last bit through, which was the copper. You can see the Bordeaux red all over it. Some of it came off on it. So that's that one. I really like this one. You can see a little remnant here and there of the Naples yellow. I think it was a Naples yellow, or it might have been the ivory. I've got this lovely ivory now from Papaya Studios. It's really lovely. Buff titanium ivory, same thing. Lovely. I think I've got another ivory somewhere. I think I got one from Hobbycraft. Yes, I did. Buff titanium again, you see. So I just like the colour so much. Daft as a brush. And then there's this one. This is the one that was on the small plate, this little 8x10 plate. That's just the plate. Put away. And this one was absolutely glorious. I love it so much, so much. And it's using this stencil with the drips on it, which are there. And it is so nice. Wonderful. I believe I used the phthalo green. You'd have to watch the video to find out what I used. But I think it was the phthalo green. This here thing. Phthalo turquoise, sorry, from Dalarani Graduate Acrylics. I like that one. I'm getting low on it too. Should have got another one. I was in Hobbycraft only yesterday. But on this one, you've got that, and I've also got the, I think it was this one, the iridescent green blue, or it might have been the other one, the green, the green blue. This is the green blue, so it might have been the blue green, which is bluer. This is greener, and it's in here somewhere or other, maybe. But you'll see it on the video. And the two combined have given me absolutely wonderful colour. Wonderful. This, when you look at it, and I don't know if you can see the way I can see it, but isn't that fabulous? Absolutely fabulous. Look at these lovely textures in it. You've got this sort of selling effect, and you've got this sort of dendritic effect as well. You've got the two together. Isn't it marvellous? You look at it in real life and it looks textured. You touch it and it's smooth as silk. It's lovely. I think it's to do with using the non-iridescent and the iridescent. So this is iridescent, so is the blue-green. And this is not iridescent. It's just the darker colour underneath. And I think the combination of using those and the iridescent beads up. And when it beads up, you either get this beading, this cells, or you get when the stencil is taken off, you get the. And on this case, I think it's the tissue above the. I think I pulled it with glassine, possibly, and the glassine sort of sucks it up and wrinkles slightly, so that will create that wrinkling effect. So that's not lovely, and it was just, I love that one so much. I'm sorry, gloating over that one. This one, oh yes. Now this is one of the ones where I used the excess paint that was gooed out all over the box when I opened the paints from Jackson's. I was so thrilled to get them so soon. They'll do next day delivery if you buy over a certain amount, and I don't find any difficulty doing that, unfortunately. And I thought being in Wales was a grand excuse to get things I've been wanting for a while. And yeah, so it was all over the box, so I had to sort of smudge the box down onto the plate and then brayer it out. So I got a nickel azo gold, I think it was, and the other one was the teal 3. I think they called it Blau Lagon. And those were open, but these were starting to dry on the box already, this one, so it took, yeah, didn't take that long. This is the other one. Oh, sorry, one way around. This is the other one using the drip stencil, as you can see. Somehow, over there. There we go. So using the drip stencil there, you can't see much of it because this one was somewhat less dry, so this was the wetter bit. Got a bit of the Indonesian blue, but most of that had dried on the box. And quite a lot of the teal and a bit of the Nicolas gold. So that's a good combination, actually. And I could do with some, could have done with some more of the Indonesian blue being available, but I was cramming it back into the tube and folding it over to seal it up, and of course the air's got at it. I don't know how long it's going to last, and this, if you look at it, it's like I've been using it for a couple of months. The tubes, they're so rolled up. So I should get the replacement sometime this coming week. This one is using that industrial stencil again, this lovely thing. And I just love it. This is the one prior to that one you saw earlier, because I'm doing this in reverse order. And this one had the Naples Yellow Deep and the Bordeaux Red. And these two together, now the Bordeaux Red has done some selling. You can see that, can't you? Some lovely selling. Yeah. And of course this is glassine, and it's like tissue, so it's so thin it wrinkles. But the color combination of those two colors, they really go beautifully together. So I've got some selling on there, which I really like. This selling makes it look like little cells, as though somebody's taken a electron microscope picture of your innards, very close up, or diagram by some ancient chap first investigating a microscope and going, oh, look what I can see, and drawing it for you. But I love that combination. That's one of my favorite stencils, that one. I love it. So of course I went and did it again, and I used it with the drips. So I've got the drips and that lovely Bordeaux Red. I might put something on the back there, but then again, if you're using this for collage, you don't need to, because you've got another thing already there and you want to put something, say you want to tear that out and put that onto something. The other colour is going to show through from below anyway. So something like, this was yesterday's. yesterday, or day before, something like that. When it's wet and put on, you will see more of it. It's not quite like tissue, so it won't be quite so see-through, but you will see these colours through. So that's a lovely thing, I think. And that's using the Bordeaux red on that. And on this, it's the blue-green iridescent. Well, I still don't know what I've done with it. It should be around some. Oh, there it is. Look. There. Iridescent blue-green. I do love this one. I've got a big one of this at home, but I thought that was a bit much. Getting another big one. And this is that marbling stencil. This one here. So what I did with this, first we put the green on, and we put the green on top of what was left of the spring green, is it? Not sure if it's spring green. Let's see. Yellowish green. Yellowish green. I do like it. I'm afraid I'm not all that struck on the green gold. The green gold is a lovely idea, but the actual tone is a bit olive for my tastes. I like it. I do like it, but and it's transparent, and this is semi-transparent, so you get some glow of colour through, especially if you use it on something like glassine or tissue. So, and then afterwards I put that marbling one on again and lined it up. Now I'm not going to do that because it took me ages lining it up because it's such a random pattern and I couldn't figure out which bit was where. It was like, I don't know. So it's probably, no, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And then I just braided on some copper just through the stencil on top like that. So it's matching up with the shape where I was using the iridescent green blue. And then I just lined it up with the pattern and put the copper through. There we go. That's it. Simple. So you don't always have to use the gel plate when you're doing another layer on something. I quite like using pens as well. And in fact, when I first started gel printing, that was all I did. I did gel printing. What do I do now? Posca pen. Then this one, oh, you got to see this close up. You have got to see this close up. Look at that. Look at those lovely patterns created by this Micaceous iron oxide. Now, I've only had a small bottle of that, and I didn't use it because it was just so expensive. So I used very little of it, and I didn't get used to it. I didn't understand how it worked. So using it this way, I bought a bigger container. So, of course, I feel a bit freer to use it more. And it's got this, I think it's because it's got the micaceous pieces in it, the little tiny, tiny microscopic pieces almost, that those create a lesser contact between the stencil and the gel plate. So when you pull the stencil up, you get this, although when you think about it, the stencil must have been here, and this is the gap between the stencil. So maybe it was from pulling it up a, maybe I used this sheet to pull it up. Yes, I think that's what I did. I used this sheet of paper to pull up the excess with the stencil still down. So this is the dendritic effect of it being sucked up by the paper when you pull it up. So I think that's fabulous. And I've also used it afterwards to pick up the edges of the plate. So I should continue on with that, and we will end up with something marvellous, hopefully. Of course, we might end up with something not marvellous, but there we go. You get what you get. And then there's this one. Now, this is interesting because this is on the glassine. And on this one, I used that marbling one again with the iridescent green blue, this one. I'm more inclined to use this one because it's a bigger one, so I feel as though I've got more leeway when you've got a bigger pot. And then on the other side, I used those two stencils, and I used one of them twice, the brush one twice, and I used the one with the little drips and blobs. It turned out pretty good, actually. So you've got that, and you've got the other colour coming through from beneath. So I can either use it either way, or I can add more colour underneath by putting it over something, which is probably what it'll end up doing. Or you could use this, put it in a frame, and behind it have some lights at the edge so that they light up. And then you've got this framed piece of artwork with these lit up from the back. I think that would be marvellous. I don't think I'll probably do that. I'll probably just rip it up and use it as collage. There we go. Now this one is just the marbling stencil, but we've got these wonderful shapes here. It's just marvellous. I think what I'd probably do is do patterning with a pen or something inside, and that would be wonderful. But look at these gorgeous shapes. Now, you couldn't plan to get something like that, could you? It's just amazing. Look at that. Fabulous. I love that one. This is nothing. This one is just nothing. It's just putting this yellowish green down in order to pick up the red, Bordeaux red that was left on the plate. I got most of it up with that. So that's all that was. But I do like the look of it. I mean, you've got remnants of the other stencils that were down as well, I'm sure, because you've got some big areas here, like the shape of the brush strokes. You haven't got so much in the shape of the little stencil with the blobs, but I'm sure I can see that through there. I'm sure I can. Can you see that? Can you see those strokes there? I can. Anyway, so that's quite subtle. Now this is the actual pull from all the manoeuvring with the Micaceous iron oxide and that big blobby stencil. This one. I don't know what you call it. I call it big blobs myself. So up it comes off the plate. Pulling up a little bit of this remnant of the Bordeaux red and some of the violet, permanent violet dark, and a little bit of the ivory, titanium white. And I just put copper over the top of what was on the plate in order to pull it. And we've still got some selling going on. Little tiny bit of it there. You can just see a little remnant of it in the gaps, you see. It's lovely. I love this Micaceous iron oxide. It's so intriguing. I've got to use it more, see what happens. This one has got a sort of pull off from the stencil on this side, but on this side, ooh, I'm loving this one. This is lovely and complex, this one. This one has this here, permanent violet dark, which is this sort of pinky violet. I know it's pinky, I can't help that. And it's got the Bordeaux red, because when I put the stencil down, as you can see, there was some red still on it, and it was still wet at that time. So that went in between. I got marvellous selling going on. And so I've got two colours there, plus the third colour, which is what was used to pull it, which was the Naples Yellow Deep. And isn't that lovely? Now that was one of the earliest one I bought, and it was just wonderful. I think that's fabulous. You've got a little bit of that little stencil there with the little holes and the drips. You've got a little bit of the brush strokes one there, and you've got these tire tread marks and gridding and the gear shapes and the honeycomb. And it's just so lovely. So much going on in it. I love that one. You could do that. You know, you could put a focal point somewhere and say, there we are, that's what we're doing with it. But I don't know. That's not the direction I seem to want to go in. at the moment, but maybe I'll save that for that another time. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next Wednesday, or we might do another impromptu. I'm just enjoying myself doing things at the moment. But when you've had a gap of a few weeks from your art, it is addictive to get back to it, isn't it? There we go. Bye bye from Mad Frankie. Bye bye.